Ladies and gentlemen, we will now begin. Assalamu alaikum. I'm Farah Naz Atta, economist at the Pakistan Business Council, and I will be your MC, Master of Ceremonies, for this event. This event, Reimagining Tourism as a Pathway to Pakistan's Economic Growth, is a PBC event in collaboration with the CDPR. We will be delving into innovative approaches, sustainable practices, and the profound potential of tourism to connect cultures and enrich lives. So before we embark on this journey of discovery and dialogue, let us seek guidance and blessings from the divine. We will begin our program with the recitation verses of the Holy Quran.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين.
CEO of the PBC, Ehsan Malik, and then there will be 3 presentations presented of the studies, one of which is conducted in collaboration with Road and Story, and the 2 have been conducted by the PBC. After this, a keynote will be presented by our Honorable DG Saab, Malik Zahir Abbas. And after his keynote, there'll be panel discussions taking place. So I would like to invite Ehsan Malik Saab, CEO of the PBC, to deliver his opening remarks. Please join us.
Thank you, Farah. Assalamu alaikum, everybody. We are really honored to have such a distinguished audience joining us today here in Lahore. We do a lot of events in Islamabad for obvious reasons, and a few in Karachi too. Rarely do we come to Lahore, and that's our fault. We want to rectify that going forward. Today's subject actually makes an ideal setting. I mean, Lahore makes an ideal setting. It's very relevant to religious tourism. It is obviously relevant to tourism overall, which is one of the second themes that we have. And of course, all of Pakistan is relevant to medical tourism. So Lahore makes a lot of sense. Very briefly, I want to introduce the Pakistan Business Council for those who may not be aware of what that is. First of all, I should say my name is Ehsan Malik, and I have the privilege of leading this organization, Pakistan Business Council, which is a business advocacy body, a relatively young business advocacy body established in 2005, but it has grown rapidly, and we now today have over 100 of the leading corporates, both large local companies as well as the larger multinationals. And these organizations join us, or they support us in advocating policies which are good for Pakistan. So we do not act, we do not lobby, and we do not represent either a single member or even a sector. We're very privileged to have as many as 17 sectors that belong to the Pakistan Business Council. So even if we wanted to, there was no way we could be representing 17 sectors. But be that as it may, that was never part of our constitution to begin with. So what we talk about is something that's good for Pakistan. In my opinion, in our opinion, what is good for Pakistan has to lead to creation of jobs. It has to lead to sustainable growth of exports. It has to also ensure wherever we can sensibly and competitively create import avoidance, then we do that. And last but not the least, neither of the aforementioned 3 things are going to be implemented if you don't have a formal economy. The problem that we have in this country is that about half the economy is in the informal sector, and much as you may try with all the superior products and all the superior marketing, it is very, very difficult to compete with the informal economy when the tax rates are so high, with GST at 18% and so on and so forth. Taxes, super taxes, and you name it. So much of what we do really is in the broader framework of policy advocacy, trying to address the energy, the taxation, the export regimes, etc. of the country. We also recognize that if we have as many as 100 of the leading corporates, both local and multinational, with us, we also have a responsibility to take their best practices and spread them widely beyond our own membership. So in that context, about 7 years ago, we established a Center of Excellence in Responsible Business, and that really works on primarily promoting gender balance, but also environmental responsibility, apart from a number of other very desirable social objectives. So I'm going to stop at that. I don't want to talk too much about tourism, but how does tourism fit into what we do? So when we say that we want to create jobs and we want to promote exports and imports, substitution on a sensible basis, we obviously recognize that we cannot do that without going a step below and recognizing where are the opportunities to do this. So we've got an overarching theme that we call Make in Pakistan, and under that we've got 3 distinct platforms. Sometimes they converge, but often they are standalone. So the first one goes without saying is what we call Make More and Make Better. That's all about manufacturing. The second one is Grow More and Grow Better, and that, as you can guess, is all about agriculture. And the last but not the least is what we call Serve More and Serve Better. Right? And this covers the whole gambit of services that we can produce out of Pakistan, services that we can produce for Pakistan, within Pakistan, things like logistics, but also services that can generate the foreign exchange that we badly need. So exports of goods is one way to achieve it. Export of services is another way to achieve it. And what better position to be in than what we are in Pakistan, endowed with the natural resources that we are, that where tourism offers clearly a significant opportunity for us to promote. So today we are going to be launching 3 different studies, and we are going to have individual presentations and of course a panel discussion also. At this moment in time, I want to actually also introduce Mr. Yasir Rashid, who we've had the privilege of working. He heads the Road and Story company. The road and story creates a lot of imagination in my mind. And I'm sure when we were younger, we all wanted to go on trips. And when we came back, we had so many new stories to tell. But what Yasir is trying to do is to actually create those stories. And he's hoping that we all join him in that enterprise. His company, Road and Story, specializes in sustainable tourism. They primarily work in the northern areas. He individually has really invented this homestay concept, because if you really want to tell a good story, you have to go and spend time with the locals, right? So I think that makes a whole lot of sense. And also, he's providing advisory services to the GB and the Kashmir governments. So on that score, I think we can move on with the presentations on the 3 studies. Thank you very much.
Yasir Saab, please join us on stage. We will be having our first presentation.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. CEO PBC, Management PBC, my colleagues of Road and Story, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, Assalamu alaikum. First of all, I would like to extend my gratitude to PBC, its entire team, for providing me this opportunity to be standing here and sharing my thoughts about tourism. And then also the opportunity, as Ehsan Sahab mentioned, about the report that we have published. So it's a study. So today I would like to share few insights from that study. But before I do that, I must congratulate PBC, especially because as I think I'm audible. So, I must congratulate PBC, its entire team, that they have invested their time and resources to for this very, very critical but yet very ignored topic in Pakistan, the ignored sector, i.e., tourism. So we strongly believe at Road and Story that if all the stakeholders put their combined effort for the tourism development, that it can prove to be the panacea of Pakistan, which is the cure of all its ills, be it economic, social, or the community related issues. So before we talk about Pakistan, just to see the global perspective, tourism is one of the most impactful and one of the largest industries in the world. In 2024, tourism touched $11 trillion, which is $11,000 billion. This is travel and tourism both. So in 2018, this figure was projected to be 12 trillion in 2028. So it is going to touch 12 trillion figure in this year, 2025, despite Corona and everything. This is substantial growth. When you go ahead and you see the share in GDP, it is 10%, it is growing, the global share. When we talk about Pakistan, so it's a different story that out of 119 countries, we are mainly at 101 position. And tourism is giving benefit to both the developed and the underdeveloped countries. So sometimes we feel that tourism is only for the developed world. You just see there was a study conducted in 2021 by Future Business Journal. It mentioned that the biggest source of foreign exchange earning for poor countries is either oil or tourism. So countries like Pakistan, which don't have oil, this is one of the largest and the most low-hanging fruits for us. And the biggest benefit of tourism is that it provides direct, indirect, and induced impact. So this is one of the very few industries globally which provide this kind of impact, which develop the GDP permanently. So every $1 received of tourism builds the GDP permanently by 39 cents. So that is the kind of impact that tourism is generating. So when we talk about Pakistan, the whole world, this is the top international influencers of tourism. This is what they are talking about Pakistan for last 5 years at least. So you can see the big names like Forbes, World Tourism Forum, and Lonely Planet, and British, the backpackers, and everyone is talking about Pakistan. Why they are talking so much about Pakistan, especially in last 5 to 7 years? So besides the natural beauty, I don't want to spend time here, and I think you know the scenic beauty and everything, but we need to understand one thing. From Karachi to K2, this is 1500 miles. In that 1500 miles, this is the shortest distance between the sea level to the base of 8,000 meter peak. None other country in the world has got this shortest distance. And this is not a boring distance. You start traveling from Karachi, you pass through a beautiful, mysterious desert of Cholistan, then you enter the plain fields of Punjab, then you go enter into the beautiful valleys of northern areas of Pakistan, the valleys and the serene lakes, and then the glacier region. Pakistan, outside polar region, Pakistan has got the maximum number of glaciers. 7,000 glaciers we have. And then the 5 out of 14, 8,000 peaks are in Pakistan. So you just see the potential of what we have. And it's not only about the scenic thing. The most important thing and the ignored thing is, I think there's a presentation on that as well, is about the religious part as well. So Pakistan is a birthplace of 3 religions in the world: Hinduism, Sikhism, and Buddhism. Pakistan is ideal for halal tourism, where non-Muslim countries are gaining the major share in the world. And then Pakistan is ideal for adventure tourism. Pakistan is ideal for medical tourism. Our doctors and specialists are running the Western best medical facilities. Just imagine the potential of medical tourism like Turkey and other countries are offering. And then Pakistan is home to 6 UNESCO sites. 27 sites are under approval. 6 UNESCO sites are here. We are the home of oldest civilization in the world, Indus civilization. We have Gandhara civilization, Mihrabpur civilization. And then we have got the forts. You see, from Karachi to Gilgit-Baltistan, we have got thousands of year-old forts. We are the home of the oldest trade route of the world, the Silk Route. Marco Polo traveled through that route. You can see the traces and everything. And besides this, we have got herbs, we have got minerals, we have got gemstones. So Pakistan is full of stories. Like Ahsan Sahab said, we are not creating stories. We are trying to promote these stories. So Pakistan is full of stories. There are many countries in the world with very little amount of stories, number of stories. They are gaining billions of dollars of tourism income. But Pakistan is, unfortunately, we are full of stories, but we are struggling. And that is the theme of my company, Road and Story, that every road in Pakistan is full of stories. So one more thing before I move to the finding and recommendations of the report is about a myth and a reality. So first, there's a concept of muscle memory. Pakistan has got tourism muscle memory. We feel that it's a new concept in Pakistan. You know, in 60s and 70s, Pakistan was part of the famous hippies trail. Between Europe and Asia, we were one of the most important country in that trail. So, and what happened that after 70s, there were regional wars and security issues. So we got a gap of 30 to 40 years. But thanks to our security forces, the security situation has improved. The advent of social media after 2010 and then the opening of the northern areas of Pakistan, suddenly the tourism of Pakistan is being talked about. So we have got that muscle memory that is coming back. So, but there is a very strong myth that I would like to bust here, and then I'll go what we are going to do about development of tourism in Pakistan. There's a myth that tourism goes with alcohol or probably nightlife. So this is a big myth. There are 62 types of tourism, and this is just only one type. So booze cruise and all this kind of concept, we don't need to focus on that. There are 62 types of tourism, and the $11 trillion industry is divided into 62 different types of tourism. So there in report, there are different kinds of tourism. And if you just see the summary, this is a tourism matrix developed by Road and Story. So if you just see this summary, on the y-axis, there is market size of tourism. On the x-axis, there is Pakistan readiness. So you just focus on this side where Pakistan is ready and the market size is higher. On this quadrant, it is $5.9 trillion. This is $5,900 billion, ladies and gentlemen, that I'm talking about. This is not mere $5 or $10 billion. This is the potential, the size. And if we just combine these two, this is over $6 trillion where Pakistan is ready, but we just need to put our focus on this. So now this was the easy part of my talk. Just I'll take 3-4 minutes, talk about the difficult part, how to do it. Everybody says Pakistan has got potential, what to do about it? So I'll just talk about this wheel and I'll conclude my presentation. This wheel tells everything what should be done to develop the tourism in Pakistan. So first I'll talk about this ABC. I call it ABC, Authority, Bylaws and Constitution, which is ABC, ABC of tourism. Unfortunately, we don't have a single authority which is responsible for tourism. After 18th Amendment in 2010, all the tourism is a provincial subject. What happens is we have got limited resources for tourism. That too are divided amongst provinces, and we end up having Gilgit-Baltistan stall in Dubai or KPK stall in Dubai instead of Pakistan. Nobody is responsible for Pakistan. Nobody is taking responsibility of Pakistan. Everybody is taking about responsibility of provinces. We need to have a centralized federal authority and then need to create bylaws, and bylaws is also important because we are working on sustainable tourism. Otherwise, over-tourism will impact, and we'll talk about this in panel and everything. And then there is constitutional amendment that we need on many areas. So after this ABC, what we need to do is develop these three things, which is the government responsibility immediately: accessibility, connectivity, and electricity. I appreciate all the governments, previous 3 governments at least. I see the infrastructure is developing. It used to take me around 29 hours driving from Lahore to Skardu. Now it takes 1 hour flight. So the things are coming up, roads are improving, airplanes, the airports are coming up, but we need to work on the accessibility. And similarly on the connectivity, the mobile connectivity and the Wi-Fi and everything, and then the electricity, that is a big issue in northern areas. And once the government does this thing, this is the role of a private sector, the development of accommodation facilities, the residence facilities. So we need to incentivize the private sector, come up with some schemes, ensure their occupancy, ensure their contract enforceabilities. And then the biggest issue, I feel, whatever lacking we have in this country, there are many countries who are even much below or probably farther behind than Pakistan, but they're promoting themselves very well. We have got extremely poor international image and international perception. We need to work on this. There are few recommendations, like we need to develop a brand Pakistan. There was a concept of Salam Pakistan, like Incredible India, Malaysia, Truly Asia, or Amazing Thailand, or Wonderful Indonesia. We need to come up with a brand. There was a brand, Salam Pakistan. We need to promote it aggressively, then engage our youth. There are more than 100 million youth, 100 million mobile penetration, 150 million internet penetration. Use them, give them the material so that they can spread instead of wasting their time on social media. Then conduct World Tourism Forum in Pakistan. They are ready to conduct their next forum in Pakistan. Just approach them. Somebody should connect with them and approach them. And once that conference is held, that country goes out of the roof for their tourism, because they send millions of views across the world for the positive image of the country. And last but not the least, the investment, both in public sector and the private sector. For that, our recommendation in reports is all about how we can incentivize the private sector, both locally, domestically, and internationally as well. And similarly, for the public sector investment, I think the infrastructure finance is a concept. The government needs to apply that. They need to launch sakuks or whatever. They need to generate funds to develop all these things. So I would stop here, but in the end, I would just say one thing, that when I interact with people, the locals and the internationally as well, and the decision makers, I feel there is a deficiency of self-belief. We do not believe that tourism is something. During last 75 years, ladies and gentlemen, we have given every industry subsidies and whatever we can, we have given to all the industry. I don't want to take name here, otherwise my friends get angry. But why not give tourism a chance now? We have given chance to every industry. Let's give a chance to tourism. So I would end my speech with a beautiful poetry of Ahmed Faraz. And Nasab is sitting here. So Ahmed Faraz said, and I quote, शिकवाए जुल्मते शब से तो कहीं बेहतर था, शिकवाए जुल्मते शब से तो कहीं बेहतर था, अपने हिस्से की कोई शम्मा जलाते जाते. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen.
The next presentation will be on the religious tourism, which I will be presenting. So this is promoting international religious tourism to Pakistan. This is a study conducted by the PBC. As Ehsan Saab has already introduced the PBC, I will not go into details. These are the PBC member companies and the PBC member affiliates. Let me give you an introduction of the study. This report, promoting international religious tourism to Pakistan, is a part of the PBC's Make in Pakistan initiative, one pillar of which is to serve better, as Ehsan Saab has already mentioned. Secondary DEX research was complemented with qualitative interviews of the religious tourism industry participants. And this report is the fourth in the PBC series on the services sector, which covers Pakistan's travel services and tourism for personal reasons, with the primary focus on the potential of Pakistan's religious travel services and tourism sector. Please note that I'll be only speaking on the religious tourism aspect. Global religious tourism. So what is global religious tourism? Of course, it is associated with pilgrims that are visiting these sacred sites, but it's also non-religious tourists as well who visit it due to cultural, historical, or religious significance. The market size is about 16.1 billion in 2024, and the projected growth between 2025 and 34 was at a compound annual growth rate of 9.1%. This makes about 26% of all tourism flows. Religious tourism in Pakistan. This shows the figures, the data of the religious travel exports from Pakistan between 2019 to 2024. As you can see, in 2024, 3.5 million exports of religious travel took place. It was a compound annual growth rate of 27% between 2019 and 2024. And there has been this rise has mostly been attributed to the rise in Sikh pilgrims during 2022 and 24, which will be further explained in the seasonality of the exports. As you can see, these are quarter-wise representation from 2021 to 24. And in the first and second quarters, there are surges. This is because of the important Sikh event, Vaisakhi, which takes place in April 12th. It's a 3 to 4 day event. In 2023, 10,000, and in 2024, 35,000 Sikh pilgrims arrived from all over the world. So this is record breaking. And Hindu festivals of Mahashivratri, Holi, and Navratri also take place in these quarters, but they have little impact on the exports themselves. So let's talk about the potential of religious tourism. So Pakistan is home to several religious sites, which is very similar to India, but they have about 6 to 10% share in the global market. So there is Buddhism, Sufism, Sikhism, and Hinduism. What is to be noted about Hinduism is that 20 temples are operational today out of the 428 Hindu temples that existed at Pakistan's independence. And when we talk about Christianity, there is also potential, and there are many churches available present in Multan, Lahore, and other Punjab regions as well. Now let's talk about lesser promoted religions. Jainism. Jain shrines are present in Multan, Sialkot, and other places, especially in Punjab. And as you can see here, 1 out of 2 are functional in every major Punjab city. Zoroastrianism, which is also Parsi community that we can say. The Jandial temple is a Parsi religion representative, and there haven't been any actions taken to restore it in the recent ages, and this temple belongs from the time of ancient Greece. Then Kalash religion, that is of the Kalash people, it is unique to Pakistan. As you can see, these are the major religions: Buddhist, Sufi, Sikh, and almost all of the markets are of India and Indian diaspora. The Buddhist markets are a bit different, South Korea, China, but the rest of them have Indian and Indian diaspora as their major markets. These are the industrial insights gathered. We had interviewed a few of the industry participants, and these are the major issues they have pointed out. Visa application procedure for pilgrims is tedious. As is specified by NADRA, silk pilgrims should come in person and identify and verify a long list of documents to their nearest mission, and government entities are interfering rather than facilitating. Pilgrims are required to register at every police station, and there is restrictions on entry at certain religious sites. There are restrictive visa policies. Indian citizens are brought in on set quotas for the facilities, and private tour companies cannot contact them. And Hindu PR owners are not given visas to visit Sikh religious sites. There's also prevalence of unfavorable law and order and security conditions, and this actually discourages most of the pilgrims to return to Pakistan, especially the Buddhists. Then there's too much focus on a few religious sites, and this leads to the conversion of some and the ruin of others. Then there's a lack of facilitation of tour companies. There is a high licensing barrier present, which leads to unlicensed fraud, and the religious travel services licenses, they fail to distinguish between importers and exporters of religious services. Lack of facilities and hotel and infrastructure around the sites, especially during religious festivities. So this is a disadvantage for those foreign tourists that are looking for hygienic conditions. And lack of proper research and planning on site restoration. Most of the site restorations are not respectful of the religious sentiments, sensitivity of climate, and structural requirements. And there is a lack of public-private partnership, which leads to lack in trust in officials and official entities and insufficient literature. These were the recommendations gathered by the study. The government needs to act as a facilitator. Management of religious sites should be handed over to their respective communities. Insurance coverage should be offered in case of flight cancellations, and the government should fully sponsor, offer guidance, and support tour operators during international travel exhibitions. Changes in the religious pilgrim visas. Current NADRA system only covers Sikhism, and it should cover all religions. Pilgrim tourists should be stated instead of Sikh pilgrim. And Indian PR pilgrims should not be mandatory for them to report to the police. There should be no visa fee charged, and 24 hours visa should be issued. And then there should be events created throughout the year so that the infrastructure and facilities and renovations of the religious sites should take place. That's because of the seasonal nature of the tourism itself. And then effective market strategies should be also devised, and the government should step in on that as well, such as documentaries, movies, readable materials, and fam trips for tour operators. Then the performance of the Pakistani embassies needs to be improved. The embassies need to work together with the tourism department to promote the religious festivities of Sikh, Hindu, and other religions. Then the improvements of the religious sites. Significant improvements is required in infrastructure, facilities, and medical services. The sites should be prepared for festivities, and some of the inactive religious sites should be activated. And the sites should be restored with proper planning and research. On arrival, facilitation of religious tourists, transit visas for Sikh pilgrims flying in and from India, and dedicated air corridor for Indian pilgrims. Then encourage the private-public partnership. The private sector should be involved on advisory boards, committees, renovations, reading materials, fundraising, and in the construction and management of hotels. The last point is highlighted by a lot of the members of the industry, and I would like to thank Malik Mahmood Saab for the input on this, is that there is a dire need to declare pilgrim tourist visa as a privileged visa. Pilgrims will not be followed by agencies. Transport carrying pilgrims will not be asked for route permits. And the pilgrim tourist visa will allow pilgrims to visit all sites as a normal tourist does. And it should be mentioned on the visas to avoid any confusion. There should be no entry to the sites as stated on the visa, and there should be a launch of group pilgrim tourist visas to facilitate pilgrims going into their pilgrimage. This model is very similar to those followed by Saudi Arabia, Iran, and Iraq. Thank you so much for your time. The study is available on the website and also here in the event. Thank you so much for your time. And now Share Javed will be joining us from the UK. She is a former Syrian analyst at the PBC. She'll be joining us through Zoom and presenting the study on the medical tourism services.
So to begin with our study, medical tourism, which involves traveling internationally for healthcare, has emerged as a global phenomenon. Everybody in the world is traveling for medical tourism, either because the lines or the time in their original countries, for example, I would quote UK, US, have long waiting lines or they're very expensive. And because travel has become so easy, the people find it so much easier that they can go to another country, get their treatment done, and come back and still save money. So this phenomenon has increased because of travel, as well as cheap medical treatments available in other countries, which are at par, if not better, in the countries that people are residing. Pakistan, fortunately, is in a place which has a great strategic location because it serves as a central point for Asia as well as a lot of other landlocked countries, and that gives it an edge. Pakistan medical tourism, like I said, offers immense potential. First of all, the biggest thing that Pakistan offers is the affordability. Medical in Pakistan, as compared to other countries, is cheap, and the treatments are as par or good with other developing countries that Pakistan can compete. We have skilled professionals who have studied from abroad. Most of the doctors that bigger Pakistani hospitals, and even the smaller Pakistani hospitals they've all completed their residencies or their higher education from abroad. So we are equally equipped as well as we have skilled professionals. And adding to that, we have strategic locations. What we do require eventually, and we will discuss this later in the presentation, is that we require investment, policy reform, and international branding. So, before looking into Pakistan, let's look at the global statistics of medical tourism. So, the market is projected to reach at 273 billion by 2027, and that is a large chunk. What we, as in Pakistan and Pakistan Business Council, what we aim to do is that we want to take some portion of that market share. So the top destinations in this region specifically is India, Thailand, Singapore, Turkey, and Malaysia. And these countries can also be direct competitors for Pakistan. So, and that is the reason why in the study, if you go, and the study is available on our website, and I'm sure it's also available at the event, you will see that we've also done a comparative analysis between these countries because we want to see the regional play right now. The popular treatments in global medical tourism is anything that can be scheduled at a later date, and that is not an emergency. So anything that can be scheduled at a later date can come into the category of cardiology, orthopedics, dental, cosmetic surgeries, just to name a few. So, for example, in cardiology, you can book your bypass or knee replacements or hip replacements or dental or nose jobs, lifts. All of these can be scheduled later, and these are one of the few things that Pakistan can target, and these are the fields that we can easily excel, if not, excel basically than other countries, including India, Thailand, Singapore, Turkey, and Malaysia. So the biggest strength that Pakistan healthcare has is affordable care. Eventually, I will talk about the cost later to have a comparative analysis of the cost. But yes, we are cheaper than the rest of the countries that we will talk about. And the other thing that we have is English-speaking staff. All of our education, at least most of our education, is in English, and I think that gives us an edge. This makes it easier for people to come, travel in, and feel secure that they can communicate their needs, because I think the one thing that anybody requires in a medical treatment is that you should be able to talk about your concerns, and the doctor should be able to communicate, understand, and then treat you accordingly. And I think Pakistan does offer that. At least the medical institutions do offer that facility, not just English-speaking staff. When we went to Quetta, when we went to Peshawar, they had staff that could speak the language of the patient that were coming in. I think that also gives us an edge, and I think that is an important thing. For example, in Quetta and Peshawar, we found out that people from Iran were coming in, and the people who were in the hospital were more than happy to translate and help these people. Challenges. The biggest challenge that Pakistan faces right now is, in terms of medical tourism, is lack of accreditation, weak regulations, and low visibility. Production procedure cost comparison. So, like I was saying before, the cost of procedures in Pakistan compared to other countries are much cheaper. And just to give an example, for example, in a heart bypass surgery in Pakistan would cost between $1,500 to $7,700. Now, this cost, we are talking about a normal hospital, and then up to a private hospital with great facilities, we still cover from $1,500 to $7,700. But in India, the basic cost starts from $5,000. Pakistan offers the same surgery. The starting price is $1,500. Comparatively, if we were to go to Thailand for a bypass, that would cost between $13,000 and $15,000. Malaysia is $12,000 to $14,000, and Turkey similarly is $8,000 to $10,000. This is bypass surgery. Now, for example, if we were to talk about hip replacement, in Pakistan, the cost is between $3,000 to $11,000. In India, the starting price is $5,000 to $7,000. Thailand is $11,000 to $14,000. Malaysia, the starting price is $8,000 and goes up to $10,000. And in Turkey, it starts from 8,500 to 11,500. All of these figures you can find in the report in a table. So, what are the strengths of medical tourism in Pakistan? So, cost effective care, as I've just discussed, we are much cheaper in terms of treatment than all other countries in the region, including India. India is one of our biggest competitors because we are also neighbors, we speak the same language. So, that is one of our biggest competitors, but we are much cheaper than India in terms of all medical, almost all medical treatments, skilled professionals, like I've discussed, and cultural alignment. So, what we looked at in this report specifically is that we want to focus on this region and we want to see if we can attract patients from this region. And I think, and in the study, we found out that the Pakistan offers a unique set of skills to all of these people because of, first of all, cultural alignment. For example, when we talk about what are the patients that could come into Pakistan, we would be talking about the Pakistani diaspora or the landlocked countries or the African countries that have Muslim population. One of the biggest, for example, that we found in our studies as well is that people from Afghanistan came for medical tourism. And for example, to quote, for cultural alignment, we have similar languages, people understand, they have lived in Pakistan. Secondly, we offer them the same environment. Like, for example, we're Muslim, they're Muslim. We talk to them and they said, these things matter when you're traveling. And I think these are some of the things that Pakistan should really focus on because this is our selling point. In this region, for example, this is our selling point. We understand you and we are ready to help you with your medical problems. The weaknesses, the biggest problem is that we do not brand Pakistan as a medical tourism destination. For example, we have a beautiful country. The north is so beautiful. In Thailand and India, they don't just sell medical tourism; they sell a whole package. For example, in India, the wellness and the Ayurveda is sold. In Thailand, tourism is sold. What Pakistan does have in abundance is natural beauty. So if we were to promote medical tourism with other forms of tourism, I think Pakistan is in a position where it can be the leading medical destination in this region because of the cost effectiveness, the ease of there's no waiting lines. So by ease, I mean there's no waiting lines. You will be prioritized. There is no language barrier. And in addition to that, if we add tourism, I think we have a winning product. The other weakness that we have is regulation gaps within the medical associations, and that needs to be worked on. Infrastructure issues is also one of the things that Pakistan really lacks, and we need to focus on. All of the hospitals should be of the same standard if they are taking international patients, for example. That is one of the things that's very important. Infrastructure, not in just terms of the hospital, but also if you are selling Pakistan as a destination, then you also need to understand if you're selling it for tourism, then we also need to look at the roads. We need to see the connectivity between the places. I will quote an example that Turkey has direct flights from so many places. India has direct flight from so many places, but Pakistan does not offer that. And I think that is also does come into this issue where the connectivity is an issue for people to come to Pakistan. Not just the branding, but also to coming into Pakistan is become difficult. What we have is an opportunity to really get the market share in medical tourism industry. One of the things that we have is the Pakistani diaspora that lives abroad. They all come in and they go for medical treatments in Pakistan because of cost and also because of the familiarity of the region. Then we also offer niche treatments. For example, Pakistan has great oncology treatments. They have great fertility treatments, bypass, cardiology, orthopedics. All of these are niche treatments that Pakistan excel and offer at much cheaper rates. Threats: the regional competition is, like I said, India, Thailand, Malaysia. Turkey is becoming a major medical tourist attractive destination for the world. And I think that is a real threat, if not at least in this region, then at least for Pakistan, yes. Instability in Pakistan, political instability is one of the things that also affect the branding of the products, that is medical tourism, because people think coming into Pakistan that they will not be safe. There is political instability, and I think that has to be dealt with, and this issue will affect everything if you do not deal with it. Travel advisory.
We had some technical difficulties. So right now we are presenting a video on medical tourism of the study. I would like to welcome the Honorable DG Saab, uh, Malik Zahir Abbas Saab, DG, who is the Director General of the Archaeology Department, Government of Punjab. And now it is a great pleasure to have you amongst us. And thank you so much for your time. And please do grace us with your presence on a keynote on this session.
So I did my law graduation in year 2002 and my master's in political science in year 2005 and joined civil service of Pakistan in 2006. So I had served in Balochistan and on different positions in Punjab, and I'm not on the list of Punjab Assembly. I did my master's in law from SOAS University of London in 2019, and it's been 1 year, 1 month, and 2 days as a Director General of Punjab Archaeology. So whatever I had heard from the different speakers is something that is close to our hearts when we say and do something about the tourism development in Punjab. So now, as we speak, I'm here to apologize on behalf of our Honorable Senior Minister and the Secretary of Tourism, Archaeology and Museums Department, since they had another engagement. We had invited the Government of Punjab and the Chief Minister had invited ECO ambassadors in Lahore. They had held the 294th Council of Permanent Representatives meeting yesterday in Lahore. We had pitched Lahore to be declared as the ECO's tourism capital for 2027. So that's an international advocacy campaign that we had undertaken recently. I mean, no one could deny or no one can re-emphasize it more than what I had heard and what you had heard from our different presentations about the tourism in general, the Ramsar sites, the heritage sites, the archaeological sites, the cultural events. There was a need to develop, promote, and have those cultural events, the medical tourism, the religious tourism, and the branding part as well. So let me reassure this August gathering, and I know a lot of you know the tourism more than me, but let me reassure you that we have worked on each and every part and segment of development of tourism. I don't know how much time I have. I wanted to speak my heart out, but I won't become an obstacle between you and the lunch as well. So I will try to be a bit fast. We have had, and someone has rightly pointed out, the oldest civilizations, the Indus Valley civilization, the Gandhara civilization. We have the religious trails, the forts, and many unknown, unearthed, and untold stories, particularly in Punjab. So what we are going to do, my first visit to one of the site which is close to Lahore, which is being taken care of by the Directorate General of Archaeology, is Hiran Minar in Sheikhupura. So I went in there with a lot of enthusiasm, but after like 20 to 25 minutes, I got bored since I did not have anything else to do there. So that was something which actually had triggered some thought process in my mind that if we want to attract tourists, if we want to give something to the people, we need to have some kind of activities on the sites that we are promoting. So we started working on it. We had, and that has been rightly pointed out by the speakers and in your study, which was shared with me before I could come over to this event, that the tourism industry in the Punjab province is scattered. It's not, at one place under one authority. So some sites are being taken care of with the Directorate General of Archaeology, then we have the World City Authority, and then we have the TDCP, and then some religious sites are under the control of Awqaf department. There are few sites which are under the control of higher education department. So everything is in bits and pieces. So what this government did is, and I cannot find the appropriate word to say it loud, that this was the first observation that came from the government and from the senior minister, that we need to have a consolidated directory of the tourism footprint in Punjab. So what we did is we did a rapid assessment of more than 600 sites. Then we prioritized few of them, and then we reprioritized few of the sites, and we had put the stop at 40 sites to be developed, which will include all the facilities that one could imagine. Let me just give you an example of Harappa. There's 6 major sites which are under the control of Directorate General of Archaeology Punjab, which are going to be upgraded. And when I say upgraded, it means lot of things that are going to come up. One is Texla, the other is Rohtas Fort, the third one is Hiran Minar, the fourth one is Harappa, and the fifth one is Darabad Fort, which we plan to pitch for destination weddings as well, which we plan to pitch for adventure tourism as well. And then we had the St. Andrew's Presbyterian Church in Lahore. So what we actually are going to do, I know I have to deal with and face different school of thoughts which are involved in the tourism industry. The archaeologists, trust me, are the most stubborn people that I could ever come across. I mean, if you have the evidence, if you know what kind of materials were used, so what stops you in reconstructing certain things to give the actual feel? But then, the different school of thoughts and how they have been brought up, how they have been trained, starts hitting you very bad. Then we have the cultural enthusiasts as well. And on many occasions, when I had pitched certain things for debate, since I am not from the tourism industry, I'm a journalist. So what I needed some kind of validation from the people who are involved in tourism industry. I see Ghazi Tamoor sitting in front of me. I had seen his videos on the Instagram. So I wanted to engage him with me as well. But there were certain known, certain unknown, certain tangible, certain intangible obstacles. But having said that, over a period of 1 year and 1 month, I have overcome certain barriers. And when I'm standing in front of you, I'm happy to say that when I say that I'm going to develop Harappa as a tourist destination, so what is it that will be different from what we have done so far? There will be a lot of environmental enthusiasts as well who will be sitting here, who can criticize me So I'm open to criticism on that account as well. One, we will not do anything substantially different to our cultural heritage sites. I'm talking about the core heritage zone. We will not do anything which is not documented somewhere. So if it is documented, we will definitely do something to restore it to its original presence. But what we are going to do in Harappa, let me just very quickly recap this. We are going to excavate certain houses. We are going to reconstruct those houses in the same tone and architecture that the Harappans used, and we will try to bring in few people who will start living in those houses, and those people will be from the local area. So we want to do something for the economic uplift of the area and the people as well. So it will be an experiential tourism. How did the people had actually lived in Harappa area, in Harappa's era? Then we are planning the people will be dressed up in the same way they used to be in the Harappan era. We will come up with certain places to sit and enjoy the coffees and the teas, but it will be in the same tone and texture. We are also planning to set up a water management exhibit, which will showcase how the Harappans had actually done when they were living in that era about the water management. Then we are planning to make an astronomical observatory. We are also planning to come up with the Indus Valley Decipherment Center as well, which will be a research center. And then we are planning to have a heritage hotel as well in Indus Valley. So that's something, if you want to, bring the tourist from outside or from within the country, at least you need to give something to them. You need to give them the activity. You need to give them the feel. And we had seen these kind of things elsewhere in the world taking place. It took me a lot of time to convince the Orthodox school of archaeologists. Then we are going to develop, like I said, the Hiran Minar. We had bifurcated it into different zones where we will come up with lots of facilities, lots of activities for people to be there and to make that site, that monument, a living site. It will not only help in promoting and preserving the culture, but will also help the Archaeology Directorate General and the private sector as well. I see a lot of question marks on the faces. So let me reassure you, whatever we are going to build, it will be in the same tone, same architecture, but in the zone 4 or 5th, on some side, the material could be modern, since we also want to leave the traces of this century as well to our generations which will succeed us. And when we will develop these facilities will not be run by Directorate General of Archaeology. These facilities shall be operated, shall be run by you. And by you mean someone coming through an open, competitive bidding process. I have heard about the medical tourism, and I'm here to share with you that the government of Punjab has recently approved the establishment of medical city for promotion of medical tourism alone. I had served in the specialized healthcare and medical education, and I know how difficult it is to upgrade the clinical facilities to a level where we will be compatible with certain other nations. I'm not talking about the infrastructure. We might have a good infrastructure at so many places, But I'm talking about the clinical facilities. It is essentially different. But we have decided, the government of the Punjab has decided to come up with the concept of medical city, and I hope it shall be developed, and it is a right step towards what we are discussing today. We will take care of the sustainability. We will use the reversible material wherever it is possible. We are committed to go for the adaptive reuse of the different sites, different places that we have. We are open for collaborations. We are open for criticism. We are open for dialogue. And I will urge you not to let this occasion slip from our hands. I would want to have a long-lasting collaborative relationship with each one of you. I would love to host you, and I would love to come over to your place as well whenever you will invite me for any kind of discussion, for any kind of criticism on me or Directorate General of Archaeology or Government of Punjab, and I would love to respond to those questions, those issues that you have which are connected with the tourism industry. So I would urge you not to let this occasion slip by, and not to keep this occasion to the extent of just talks, right? About religious tourism, we are cognizant about this. Unfortunately, Sardar Ramesh Singh Saab could not make to this forum today. I, along with Sardar Ramesh Singh Saab, is a person who has given a new meaning to the interfaith religious harmony as well. I teach the reimagining. You are teaching us the reimagining of tourism sector, and I teach reimagining interfaith harmony to the under training officers of Pakistan Administrative Service, and to the other civil servants in Civil Services Academy as well, and to different educational and training academies as well. So we are quite open, and we understand, we know that we are the custodians of a very sacred sites of all the religions. Maybe the Christianity and Jainism might not have been pointed out in the presentations that we had before my talk, but we are cognizant about what we have, what kind of treasures we have, and how sacred those things are for the other communities. And I, as a person, I don't believe in, the concept of interfaith harmony. If you are pointing it out to someone as a minority on the basis of religion, for me, that is the end point of talk. That's not the starting point of a talk. So for me, that's the situation has been shut for good or bad for future discourse. So we are cognizant of the issues as well, but we are cognizant of our responsibilities. We know that this sector had not been prioritized previously, and I know that when a private provider would have to come and interact, I knew it. That's why I said that I wanted to say more, since maybe this is the first time that we are doing more than the expectations are from you. I will take a couple of more minutes. That's precisely my argument, that we got nothing to do with the regulation of a private provider and someone who has wanted to avail the services of that private provider. Or for that matter, if someone, it really had touched me deep when a professor of alums had to see me in my office, that we wanted to have your go-ahead, since we wanted to conduct a research on certain monuments which are under your administrative control. So that for these kind of small things, I had come up with an idea of zero governance initiative, where there will be no interaction with the Directorate General of Archaeology. Whatever you want to do, I mean, who am I to give you permission to conduct research on some monument, some book that we keep in our libraries? It's your. But maybe though that facility could be tied to some kind of minimal fee in order to solicit the serious contenders from the people. But we have worked diligently in coming up and designing a system where there will be minimum interaction with the regulator, and you will be on your own. You will have your own choices. We will be there to facilitate you and not regulate you. And like I said, we are open for collaborations. Whatever assistance you need, we are open to you, and we would love to sit with you. So these were the few submissions that I wanted to make. I wanted to say more, but since we ran short of time, so thank you very much for inviting me over, and my apologies again that the Secretary Saab and the Senior Minister could not make to the today's forum. Thank you.